Hello and welcome to the Sands of Time review channel. It's your host Sammy Thunder. Once again, I bring you guys a new acquisition of mine, and you can probably tell that it is a Seiko Presage, and it's a limited edition one. And it comes in this really nice kind of wooden presentation box. I really like it. Brings a bit of that Japanese touch to it. But what I have here is the Seiko, the Shippo Enamel, also known as the SPB073. And this was a 2018 limited edition watch, I believe, and they had two versions, and I have the one that has the power reserve on the dial, as long as the date wheel. There is also another version that features a date display window, except I like this better, mainly because it doesn't have that depreciation in the enamel dial, and I'll go through that when I actually do a proper review of the watch, but this is kind of just an initial impressions and unboxing. So as we see here, I have the Shippo Enamel. I'll get these tags out. So the main tag I would like to look at is the Shippo Enamel tag here. This is actually a handcrafted Shippo Enamel dial by Wataru Totani of the Ando Cloisonne. So these are very highly skilled artisans, craftsmen, and they also work on the dials for Crador as well. So this here was a very rare release, limited to 2,500 pieces, and there's only a few you can probably find on Chrono 24, and they're asking quite hefty prices. But this is one of the limited editions from Seiko that's truly a limited edition. And you can see here that the text written here is the Shippo Enamel dial is handcrafted, and therefore there will be some little dimples on the dials. This is a unique feature of handcrafted Shippo Enamel. The other stickers I don't really care for, but the box itself is very nice. They've put a lot of thought there. Bear with me as I play with the autofocus. There we go. This here is the Shippo Enamel, and it has an extremely beautiful dial. There's an actual video on how this is crafted by Seiko, and I think they start off with a stamped guilloche dial. I believe it's a stamped guilloche, and then they actually apply the Shippo Enamel. So that process, I'll actually link the video down below in the description. I just want to keep this simple. My very first impression of this watch is, wow, the blue's amazing, the dial is amazing. Compared to the other enamel dials, when I saw this under the macro, I noticed that the indices, they seem applied compared to the blue enamel dial I used to own. So there is a step up in the dial aspect there, but I pretty much owned the same configuration watch, with the power reserve and the date window, the date wheel, sorry, in the blue enamel dial. But this is what I wanted when I started as a watch enthusiast, but my budget was $100, and when I saw this, I was in awe. So when the opportunity arose, I took the chance. Basic specs out of the way. I'll probably do a proper review with the specs, but this does feature the 6R27 movement, which is it's a workhorse movement. I've heard that this, compared to the 6R15 and 35, is a bit more accurate, and I think this has the higher beat, so it's like 28,800 compared to the other two. But what I'll do is actually, the star of the show is the dial, but also the case is actually very well done, and it's almost like Zaratsu. It's distortionless finishing. So I actually think at least this side flank here is Zaratsu polishing, based on my experience and handling of many Grand Seiko watches. The top bezel is just high polish. It's very similar to Zaratsu. Actually, it probably is. It's very close to Zaratsu, or it is Zaratsu. But the dial here is honestly star of the show. So I'm gonna go deep into the macro. Let's go deep. as deep as I can. Bear with me, guys. I'll actually have to bring the light in. And there we go. This is the Seiko Presage Shippo Enamel in under the macro, and as you can see, that dial is a luscious blue. You see the nice gear shape pattern, and you have the blue and then the dark blue striations. You can kind of see that those indices, you know, they're kind of applied on there, just based on looking. The handset's done well. There's absolutely no floor or dust particles on the watch, you know, and for us, you know, limited edition Presage, they've done well. There's no dust. Dimples and stuff I might have to go through in a better review, but handset quality excellent, indice quality excellent, no dust, no scrapes, nothing. It's done to perfection here, and you can tell, you know, that it is done to a very high standard. The guilloche dial, beautiful. You know, it may be a stamped guilloche. I don't know what method of guilloche dial they have, but the star of the show is that enamel plus the guilloche dial. That is just beautiful craftsmanship, and this reminds me of the enamel dial watches from Ulysses Nardin. You know, I loved those. It was actually this watch that inspired me to look into Ulysses Nardin, because I wanted a watch like this. So I'll get out of the macro there, but essentially that's the watch. My initial impression is that yes, the watch case is slightly thick. It does feel slightly thick, but honestly, when it comes to wearing the watch, it's fine. Cyan crown, cupcake crown that you'd find on a cocktail time, so they've used the same part there. Winding is buttery smooth. 6R 27 movement, so they've done some Coach de Genève, Tokyo striping, whatever you want to call it, and that's really the only amount of finish you can get there. The strap on this watch is pretty much Grand Seiko strap. I've owned many Grand Seikos on the strap. I'll tell you right now that this is of the same quality. I really like the buckle they've used here. Secure, it's brushed hardware, high quality, solid. It just feels quality. So that's kind of my initial impression, guys. It's the Seiko SPB073 Shippo Enamel, and a much more in-depth video or review will come later. Thanks for watching. I think this is an excellent value proposition. I think this will be a very rare watch collector's item soon. It already is, you know, trading at a high price, and it's sublime. It looks amazing in person, actually, and a video probably doesn't even do it that much justice. It's beautiful. It is honestly a beautiful watch, and the thickness. Look, I understand, you know, when they're working with these enamel dials, there's certain specifications that they have to work under. So it's slightly thicker, but it's a beautiful watch. It's the dial. Beautiful. The dial is the star of the show here, but Seiko have not lacked on the case itself as well. It's beautiful. I do like everything about the watch. Solid package. And this is the sands of time. Peace.